You send a text. Then you send another one explaining what you meant. Then a third one clarifying your tone. You say, sorry, before you've even done anything wrong. You justify every decision you make, even to people who didn't ask. Here's what no one tells you. You're not insecure. You're protecting yourself. If you've ever caught yourself explaining, then re-explaining, then apologizing for explaining. If you justify your choices to people who don't even care. If you feel exhausted after conversations because you spent the whole time making sure you weren't misunderstood, you're not overthinking. You're not dramatic. And you're not broken. What you're doing is something your nervous system learned a long time ago. And today, we're going to talk about why some people explain themselves into the ground, while others just say what they mean and move on. Let me paint a picture. Someone asks you a simple question, why didn't you come to the party? And instead of saying, I wasn't feeling it, you give them a full breakdown, the headache, the long week, the social battery, the fact that you wanted to come, you just couldn't, and you hope they're not upset, and you'll definitely make the next one. You're not lying. You're not manipulating, you're preemptively defending yourself against an accusation that was never made. Or maybe it's this, you set a boundary, a small one. I can't do that. But you can't just leave it there. You have to explain why. You have to prove it's reasonable. You have to make sure they know you're not being difficult. You're not asking for understanding. You're asking for permission to exist without conflict. Here's the thing. People who explain themselves too much aren't trying to be heard. They're trying not to be blamed. So what's actually going on? Over-explaining isn't a personality flaw, it's a protective behavior. Somewhere along the way, you learned that silence was dangerous. That not explaining yourself led to conflict, to misunderstanding, to someone filling in the blanks with the worst possible version of you. Maybe you were punished for things you didn't mean. Maybe your intentions were constantly questioned. Maybe, I don't know, wasn't an acceptable answer in your house. So you started talking, a lot. You started justifying, clarifying, defending before anyone even attacked. It's called hypervigilance. Your nervous system is always scanning for signs that someone might be upset with you. And when it picks up even the smallest hint, it floods you with the need to explain, to smooth things over, to make sure you're not the problem. You're not people-pleasing because you're weak. You're doing it because at some point your emotional safety depended on it. And now, even when you're safe, your body doesn't know that yet. Let's go back. Maybe you grew up in a home where your words were twisted, where what you meant didn't matter, only how it was received. Maybe you were blamed for things that weren't your fault, and explaining was the only way to prove your innocence. Maybe you were the peacekeeper, the one who had to manage everyone else's emotions, and over-explaining became your way of keeping the temperature down. Or maybe you were just misunderstood a lot, and it hurt, so you learned to say everything twice, 3 times, 4 times just to make sure. You didn't choose this, you adapted. And here's the painful part, even now, when you explain yourself, it doesn't always work. People still misunderstand. They still get annoyed. They tell you you're overthinking, being too sensitive, making it complicated. But you're not making it complicated, you're trying to make it safe. Now, let's be clear. There's a difference between communicating and over-explaining. Healthy communication is, I can't make it tonight. Over-explaining is, I can't make it tonight. I've had such a long week. I'm so tired. I really wanted to come. I just don't think I have the energy. I hope that's okay. I'm not trying to flake. I promise I'll come next time. One is honesty. The other is armor. Over-explaining doesn't come from a desire to be understood. It comes from a fear of being misunderstood. And there's a difference. You're not clarifying. You're justifying your right to take up space. And it's exhausting, isn't it? You finish a conversation and you feel drained, not because of what you said, but because of how hard you worked to say it in a way that wouldn't upset anyone. You apologize for things that don't need apologies. Sorry for the long text. Sorry for bothering you. Sorry for explaining. You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry for existing in a way that might inconvenience someone. And the cruelest part, even after all that explaining, you still don't feel seen. Because over-explaining isn't really about being understood, it's about not being punished. So here's what I need you to hear. You're not too much. You're not dramatic. You're not annoying. You're someone who learned, very early, that your words could be used against you. So you started using more of them, as a shield, as proof, as evidence of your good intentions. And that response, however exhausting it is now, was once your survival strategy. You don't owe anyone an explanation for existing, not anymore. Here's my question for you. What's the one thing you wish you could stop explaining? Leave it in the comments. I want to know. If this one hit, subscribe, because next time we're talking about the people who don't explain at all, the ones who go silent when things get hard. And that pattern, it's just as deep. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.